Microphone check and screen share check, please. Thank you. All right, we'll start with the Market 150 look back. This is the nightly strategy podcast for August 24th. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we had another consolidation day here at this critical state, hovering right at the crucial support levels. So no, it did not violate to the downside. It did not break to the upside. So we're getting this compound critical state. So the breakout from here should be even more spectacular once the winners emerge. Failure to fail to me was important, and this feels like it's up. There was basically a tax relief or block grant to lower and middle class people with the announcement of the student loan debt. That's given me $25,000 worth of relief. So you multiply that by millions, and you got to think that's somehow going to help the consumer economy. So I'd be looking at staples for improvements. So compound critical state, no real difference there. Same as yesterday, we're in a holding pattern. The 30-day look back, you can see how that, yesterday was a sell-off and close weekly. Today was no gap and close microscopically better. Again, on small range, I actually take that to be a positive sign. This could have fallen all the way back to here and didn't. So I take that as a positive sign. You're going to start seeing the RL10 reverse this way, and I think that's going to be favorable. And then the 30-minute, you can see just how tightly compressed this support range is. And we even had a bit of a PSAR flip today on the 30s and pulled back, held support at the PSAR mostly. In the last minute, it gave a little PSAR flip, but I take that to be a positive sign, and 418 is next. Looking next at the sectors. The S&P at 0.32, gaining back yesterday's losses. The Russell was the best at 0.76. Tech and diamonds were close to the S&P at 0.29 and 0.23. Emerging markets lagged. That was the boundary between gains and losses. And treasuries were worst at minus 0.73, down at 111. That's 110 has been a support level in treasuries for a rebound. So if you're a treasury trader, that's something to be mindful of. Tesla, 0.22, it breached above 900 for a moment, but couldn't close higher than 900, so it's at 891. So a micro gain on Tesla today. Let's take a look at the underperformers first. Again, the S&P. Staples, materials, Aussie, tech, lumber, Mexico, commercial real estate. The other lumber, 0.24. I'm sorry, this is Brazil. Then Mexico here. Lithium and VIX. So the VIX is still pointing the way to the upside. The lack of volatility is kind of remarkable. Lithium gave back a little bit, but we're going to see uranium had quite a move today. It's as if they were listening to what we said a couple days ago. Scary good. To the upside, again, here's the S&P at the bottom of the stack now, 0.32. Our first set of gainers, agriculture, 2063. That feels like it's above 20 to stay, I hope. I'm owning some of that. Real estate, finance, and consumer discretionary between 0.4 and 0.6. Bitcoin, 3/4. The next cluster, wheat and precious, blockchain, FANGs, global future of finance, and blended commodities between 0.9 and 1%. Energy and blended large cap cryptos, 1.1 to 1.2. Oil and oil exploration, 1.6 to 2. XBI, that's the biotechs, 2.11. Ethereum and ARC Innovation, 2.6 and 3.3. Then a nice cluster here, ARC Genomics, 3.5. Clean Energy, 4.6. Marijuana, 7.7. And uranium, we called that one pretty well, 11.5% right out the gate. Beauty. All right, let's take a look at symbols, or the reports, I should say. Sorry, let me get back to page 1 here. All right, starting today off with the sniper trade of the day. So this was uranium. Someone asked me, what was my radar screen? How did I get that? This was a combination of just reading the macroeconomics in Europe. They are painfully aware of being held hostage both to Russian oil and coal and fertilizer and U.S. natural gas, and they don't like it. And nuclear is the only feasible solution. France has shown the way. Monday, Finland announced a multi-billion-dollar long-term commitment to storing nuclear waste. They'll do that for Europe, and they're joining NATO and the EU. And that's Germany's only real solution to get away from Russian oil and fossil fuel domination. So uranium should go up as a realization that Germany's going to go nuke. And the German Green Party is going to at least be able to say, well, we're not storing it in Germany and we want our energy. So that should be a long-term play in uranium. And then uranium on the longer term look back is in a favorable technical position. So that was the basis for uranium. So here was the gap up. Here's the opening range 3. Closed here, opens when it breaks out above the OR3. Standard entry, standard risk box, 25 cents. Actually in uranium it's about 13 cents, and so this is the first time I'm trading uranium, so I just went with 25 cents. It gives me this little R10 wiggle, second position. If I hadn't taken it here, I would have taken the second position here. I wanted to get paid, so I took the standard exit. I'm not interested in being short this by far the strongest sector. So it pulls back, shows no sign of weakness whatsoever. So on the PSAR flip, I just buy it, leave it alone. When it clears the previous exit level, I just buy the second position. And now this one gains 1, 2, 3 on the first position, plus 1 on the second position, so that's plus 4. And then this one is 1, 2 on the first position, plus 1 on the second position, that's plus 3. That's plus 7. So I'm going to keep 2 scoops as a swing trade with a basic entry level of 21 1/4. So and I'll keep a wider stop on that. So I'm using markets money from this. I'm banking 5 and then rolling 2 to pay for the swing trade going to the upside. So that's the sniper trade of the day, sort of a fractal. We've already seen the 3 market checks, so we'll just go right to dashboard 1. Still bearish, quiet. We got a little bounce today, although still weak on the 10-day. Risk C is still favoring risk on. It is no longer abnormally up, so it's just, this is actually now favorable for a potential rebound and swings. Chevron, ExxonMobil in the energy sector. There's XLE Energy on the min pane. Coke, Alcoa, Caterpillar. Alcoa has moved on to the min pane as well. Intel and 3M and Home Depot remain surprisingly on the max pane. There's some opportunities in those. I tried Intel today based on last night's discussion. I'll show you how that went. Lots of signals today because of the narrow range. Lots of dojis in the Dow. A handful of 5DDs. I'm always interested when the 5DD is also giving me a favorable auto framer. So Cisco, IBM, Microsoft, 7.6 to 1. That's got to be a good play. 3.3 to 1 on Visa. Alcoa, American Express, Boeing, and Disney were the percent winners today. Walgreens, Pfizer, DuPont, Caterpillar were the losers. Only one breakout today, Chevron in the energy sector. 2 breakdowns, that's Pfizer and Walgreens. Otherwise, all systems go. Nothing unusual to report there. Tons and tons of auto framers. In the ETFs, a similar story. Handful of dojis. Lots of 551Ws today, which means symbols that are up over the last 5 weeks or down over the last 5 days, but today put in a price bar that closed higher than the open. So I normally put a bracket on that and play back to the 10-day high, and then this column tells you the test of the 10-day high, gives you that kind of reward to risk. So everything that's a 551W is basically in a very favorable condition for an upside move given today's lack of volatility, the tiny ranges. Only treasuries broke down, and there was a break to the upside in energy and oil. So I actually think this is very favorable for a sharp move tomorrow, along with the good feelings from the tax break for student loan relief. You know, the daughters and I had a discussion today about the decision we made a couple years ago to minimize the student debt repayment pending the legislation. We were estimating that they were going to delay that as long as possible unless they needed it for buying votes for the midterm elections, which is what they needed to do, and this is timed just right for that. So that longer-term payoff really paid off of deferring the repayment was a good tactical decision. In the auto framer, just about everything is favorable. So really, Microsoft, Treasuries, Intel, and Tech, the S&P and the Dow, all of these are really in favorable conditions. So what that means is that you had a nice strong move to a 10-day high. This little sell-off has terminated in 2 very tight range days, and that's why a test of the 10-day high is offering such favorable reward to risk ratios. So frame your trades accordingly. Lots of squeezes today. Microsoft leading the way. I also like Intel, McDonald's, the tech sector, Tesla and Walmart. That's everything you want, and along with the spiders. So tomorrow should be fireworks in the afternoon after the Fed. Shifting to the snipers and our standard patterns there. We have SWK now is the only Godzilla that is showing any kind of volatility. So all of these right here, including Garmin, are very quiet Godzillas ready for a breakout. I expect to see them moving tomorrow. The VIX also is a bit troublesome. About a surprise return to volatility would cause the VIX Godzilla to begin to rage. Fireworks are mostly of the popcorn variety because everything is so quiet. When the 5-day and the 1-day volatilities are so quiet, and these are all at extended ranges on the 150-day and the 30-day lookbacks. These are just poised, ready for breakouts. The fence sitters eating barbecue in the backyard, these are all in the middle of their 150-day and 30-day lookbacks. And again, they are poised inside this really tight breakout range. If they just go up and test the highs or the lows, you're going to get at least 3-to-1 favorable reward to risk just within the time frames that they trade in. So there's no it doesn't take an exaggerated move to give you a favorable move in either direction. The quiets in the S&P, again, nothing is moving on the 1 day at all. On the most volatiles, AAP is the only one that's given us volatility both 5-day and 1 day. LH is close, as are HIG and Twitter. Nothing else to see there. Tactical symbols, statistics, and the auto framer on the previous page. That's our auto framer stuff. And of course, what you're paying attention to there is the R10 for the intraday, the size of the intraday risk box. The RR is one that's giving you the reward to risk ratio for a swing trade back to the 10-day high, and then this is the default sort. Although what I have right now is I'm wanting to show percentage intraday moves, because when we're in the bear, I like to see just 1 day moves. Biggest probable follow through is going to be uranium and marijuana for that reason. The Four Seasons being dominated by fall, that's a buy on dip opportunity as long as it doesn't collapse. Here's the sniper stats for our tactical symbol set. Notice none of them are exceptional 5-day volatility, and most everything is in this very quiet move. The only one that's not is marijuana, and that was part of that big move today of 7.5%. That surprise move up makes that very interesting, and it may be coming to life. Maybe it has the munchies, whatever that means. Let's see. In the multi-time frame NDX, energy sector very strong. Devon, ExxonMobil, and Chevron had the strength today, along with energy, oil exploration, and oil. There's some strength. Ready to play continuations on that one. We'll shift to the sniper trades. Some sniper trades of the day today. This was uranium. You already saw that one. That was about 7R. And I'm going to stay with that one, just like lithium. U.S. Steel. So this one started off as a very large gap down. So here was the close. Here's the gap down, sold off harshly. There's your OR3. I let it get a 1, 2, 3 entry, standard risk, and I'm just hoping to see it get back to here, and then if it breaks above there, then I'll be happy. So this is the tactical trade space right here, and all I'm going to try to do in the tactical trade space is get my risk out above my entry. gives me a scratch. Probably stayed too long in that one. There was a chance. I mean, it gave me the 1R move, for crying out loud. It gave me exactly what I was hoping to see, which was the 1R move back to the close, and then I let it move all the way against me to hit the PSAR and scratch, and then it held and crossed the dragon again, gave me a kata 2, so I just re-entered. There's a slight cost on that one. If you enter here and scratch and then re-enter right here, you give up this little portion of that gain from here. But as a way to avert the loss of the potential to the downside, I will make that trade-off every time. It still has to get above this price level to be interesting. So standard risk, another scratch, another kata 2 re-entry. Now it's looking a little better, but still half an R. This is just a real grind right now. But I don't expect anything, so that's what I'll do. We'll just let it grind. Kata 2 re-entry. Oh, it finally pays off. Some last-minute burst. I actually have some hopes for this thing tomorrow on the basis of that very, very strong close. So this was basically about 0.5 net. And then this one paid off 1 unit of risk, 1, 2, 3. So plus 3. Looking at this now, I would probably be willing to take one of those positions and then just keep it overnight for a swing, except that we are in bear quiet, so why bother? Who wants the overnight risk? Not me. This is marijuana. This was the other big mover of the day. It starts with a quiet opening, then moves a risk box off the low. It gives me my first little orderly 2R. I mean, I wish they were all just like this. That's just what you want to see. A nice orderly move out from yesterday's close. It moves a risk box off the low of the day. The PSAR's up. It just rolls and goes and gives you an orderly +2 in the first hour. We will take it. Kata 2 re-entry and gives us about 3R on the re-entry. 1 unit of risk, 1, 2, 3. So that's +3. That's a total of +5 so far. Kata 2 re-entry, fractional loss. Kata 2 re-entry, fractional loss. That's probably enough for the day. And then missed the last move. So there was a burst of some buying in the last half hour, not just in steel, but also in marijuana. So there's +5. So Intel was on my mind after yesterday's little discussion about why the return of fabricating to the U.S. So I decided I'm going to practice trading Intel. Extraordinary volatility, except the scale on this is pretty small. So here was the close yesterday. Here is the where's the gap opening to here. Sold off, came back. So this is just all over the place. So I decided I'm going to let this thing chill out before I get into it. This is there's a lot of volatility in that opening. I decide to wait for the PSAR break to the upside after we got the RL10 peak, and as soon as I bought it, it immediately sold off. That's about a -0.8. It comes back through the PSAR again, and I just re-enter the same trade. Gives me about half an R. I'm only interested in the long side on this one in the morning. So I had that orientation. So I don't get the short. It bottoms out. Now this is feeling like a COTA 2. And that's going to be the COTA 2 entry here on the next bar. Standard risk box. So that's like 15 cents in Intel. The actual R10 is 12 cents, but I just rounded it to 15. It breaks above the high of the day. It's up here near yesterday's close. So this should be the test. Kind of rolls over, can't break any higher. I take about a half an hour gain on this one. It's had a real hard time breaking through all of this, and there have been sharp downward impulses. So I think I was ready to be short on this one. Yep. I get the PSAR flip. I let it get below. So here's the PSAR flip. So technically it could be short here. I decided to wait for a break of the belly of the RL10, which is also the same price level as it. This looks like an important price level. So once that broke, I go ahead and put the 15-cent standard risk on it. I'm short. I'm looking to see it get to this test and this test, and if it can break below the low of the day, this thing should really be a harsh sell. Yeah, gets all the way to the bottom and holds. And then I just take the PSAR exit, so that's 1 unit of reward. That's about +1. I treat that as a stop and reverse because the last time it was at this level, this all held and it made that kind of a move back to the top, so I'm hoping to see that if that holds. I'm really only risking this much. I'm not going to let it fall all the way to down here because I would exit on the break of the collapsing dragon. Gives a little, 0.3 gain. I looked at the COTA 2. It was getting late in the day. I was not impressed. I said, surely it's done. So I didn't play that one, and of course it runs right back up. So I still think longer term Intel's a very interesting story stock for macroeconomics and political. I think it's at a price level that Elon can buy it. Maybe when SpaceX goes public to hedge funds and accredited investors and raises $120 billion, then maybe he picks up the cash to buy Intel. I don't know. So what I like was how orderly this was once it got moving. I like that it held this support level, so that feels like support being established. There was some evidence of buying pressure and buying pressure going into the close, so I'm optimistic about the tradability of Intel, both short-term and for swings. It just may be premature to do the swings right now, but I'm starting to like it. Okay, so that was Intel. All right, let's take a look at the traders. All right, let's see. We'll start with Woj. So he's got Devon Energy here. Here's the OR3, buys the breakout, gets paid. Quick scratch, quick loss, stop and this should be this was too long waiting, and that should be a stop and reverse. Didn't take it. He took the break. So this one should have been in play, and we'd have a better result than this. I don't... of course you're not trading because you're out. But then when you get back, you got a very nice SSC, and you crushed that one nicely. Tesla was a hard one to trade today. There's the OR3 breakout. Legitimate effort to go long. Give it the 1R. This one, that stop and reverse, could have paid for that one. I think you believed in it too long. In both cases, so we gave back almost 2R on this one by believing in it. Quick loss. This should be a stop and reverse here. Instead, we get the scratch. So I think the timing was a little off on Tesla. There were some signals in there we just didn't take advantage of. This is the Aussie dollar, Ethereum US dollar. Oops, come on, dummy. Ethereum was jumpy all over the place today. A scratch, a loss, a scratch. Here's the Kata 2, and there's the Kata 2 right there. Instead, we're waiting for the break. We're waiting for this to pull back and then to continue. So that almost feels like a Kata 2, and then waited way too long to be in there. If that doesn't immediately go, get out and stop and reverse here, then this gets paid. This is the Aussie dollar. Did a nice job staying out of the chop, and then fell asleep on this one. And here, or here, or here, or here, all give us part of this. Better to be on the outside wishing you were in than being on the inside wishing you were out. So live to fight another day. Afternoon trading, scratch and Devlin. Got his money back now on Tesla. Much better play after the break. And then this is the rest of the afternoon in the Aussie for 4.7. So total of everything today, Woj, 6R, not too shabby. All right, here's Eugene on this was the story stock on Bed Bath & Beyond, and they had some good news today that they'd secured a line of credit. So great big gap. He plays the weakness, does a quick exit, stop and reverse to get for 2R. So 1R loss on the first one, 2R on the second one. Then waits for the break of the dragon and the PSAR flip. Very nicely managed exit for another R. And then total looks like 3. Looks like +3 for the day. Yeah, +3. Very nicely done. Very measured. Good, clear trading plan on a story stock. Here is Tim does a nice job on crude on the 3-minute. Sees the nice tight river break down below the VWAP. Gets paid. Stop and reverse the other way. So 0.8. Got what was available. Well done. And then this is the micro S&P for 2.2R. I like this one. I like the short and the quick stop and reverse. We might have been a little quicker here, but I understand why you'd want to give that a little more room. Quick loss, stop and reverse, very carefully managed. 2.2, very professional today. Stop. Oh, no, we did get that one. Yes. I was going to say, stop leaving the office. Nicely done. This is less on the New Zealand for 1.6. Pretty good. Got paid quickly. Good scratch, reversed, got 2. Why is it -1? Oh, minus -0.1. Okay. And then this one, I'm sorry, I thought you got short here, which is a good short. He waits till the second leg down, gets this one for 0.7. Quick loss, quick gain, 1.6. And left just in time to watch that one leave the station. That will happen. But trade on your terms. And then finally, Arch. Let's see here. Nice job today on the 5-minute Aussie. Let's see, where are we at? Quick. Yeah, I like the PSAR flip short, quick exit, quick stop and reverse. Now, I don't know. I think that's reasonable. It failed to fail in that entire move, so now you're thinking this can get to there. I don't mind that one. That's a quick loss. And then I think that hesitation caused you not to stop and reverse, and then misses this. So you would have gotten paid on that one for sure. Good quick scratch, and but you still net 1.6 today, so we can live with that. All right, that's everything we got for today. I'm gonna go up and see the daughters. We're talking about how they're going to spend their tax break. And I got to point out, actually, that's my money, not theirs, but we'll see how long that lasts. Oh, I'm sorry, and we got Luke. Luke sneaking one in. This better be a good one. Yeah, 4-hour. That's good enough. Good enough to brief. Alrighty, let's see what Luke's got for us here today. Starts off here after the sell-off, the PSAR flip, quick loss, stop and reverse. This was slow, but got paid. Couple quick scratches, and then a nice big win for 4. That's pretty good stuff. Once he got hooked into the big fish, he landed it, so we're liking that. Nice work, fellas, and we'll get this published and processed and posted. So thank you very much.